Hello and good morning, everybody. Hey, I think we're finally working now. I gotta check real quick, make sure my mic is working, but I see the meter moving now finally, which is great news. Hopefully you heard the music at the start, and if I can get my, I'm gonna check this real quick. So I'm gonna mute my mic and just make sure that I can hear the stream coming through. So hold on. And if I can get my... All right. It's working! It's working! Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Xbox Live episode 673, Going Solo. As you can see, I've pulled the show out of retirement. I don't know, the 8th time. But it's just going to be me. I will probably get Rob and Brun to join on occasion. I'll twist their arm, or when big news comes out. I'm sure that they will be happy to join and contribute to the show. They better at least be listening and giving me feedback. So this is my first time doing this solo. It's very different than doing it with other people, so bear with me. My idea of this was I'm planning to do maybe a couple shows a week. They're going to be a lot shorter. They're going to be on YouTube. I do have, as people join the chat, if they do, on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see the little chat coming up on the window. But otherwise, I'm just showing some, like, Starfield, the developer diaries, just kind of running in the background for you to have something to look at. So the channel will improve over time as I learn the ins and outs of how to stream live on YouTube. So, but anyways, of course, I got to give the plug. Please like and subscribe. That would be awesome. Alrighty, so I want to start out by talking about ABK, so the Activision Blizzard King deal, and I'm really glad this thing's about over. I know that Microsoft and Activision they've cleared all hurdles at this point except the CMA, and in the UK, and they have agreed. Activision and Microsoft have agreed to extend the date out to October, so that they can work with the CMA to close this deal out completely. Microsoft can close right now if they want to. They can close in the US and everywhere else except England, and except the UK, right? But Microsoft is being smart about this. They've stated before, they're not done with acquisitions. And if they were to close over the CMA at this point, that could cause them problems later. Let's be honest, people hold grudges, people get upset, and they could fight back on the next acquisition that they would require a approval from the CMA. So this is a really good thing that Microsoft's doing this, taking the time, doing it right, and also ensuring that future acquisitions aren't going to be hampered by them just closing over the CMA at this time. So that's good. This whole deal, I know there's a lot of the ponies and the Xbots and, going back and forth, and the ponies are mad that, well, they're mad one day that Starfield's not coming to their platform, and then the next day they don't want it, and then the next day they're mad that it's not coming again. And it's been ridiculous the last 18 months with all the complaining and the crying and everything going on, that it's just nice to know that this is almost over. But this is going to be better for everybody. So even for the Sony gamers, the PlayStation gamers, Sony right now is a monopoly everywhere outside of the United States. They have massive market share. Even based by their own numbers, they're 90 some percent in Japan. Microsoft, I think, has 2%, right? So because Sony doesn't compete, or they don't claim that Nintendo is a competitor, that puts Sony at 90%. How's that not a monopoly? Granted, we all know that Sony is a competitor, but if they're going on the next gen or the high end console market and taking Sony or taking PlayStation or Nintendo out of it, then Sony, by their own rights, has said we're a massive monopoly. And they don't really have to do anything. You know, they have been charging customers for upgrades to games. They've been charging them $10 for a long time on that. Now they're moved all games to $70. They were the first ones to do it because they can. They're a monopoly. They can do it. Um, and yes, Microsoft eventually followed, but it's when you have such a large control of the market, you can pretty much do whatever you want and you don't have to compete. So this is going to force Sony to compete, which is going to benefit PlayStation gamers. You look at Xbox Game Pass compared to Sony PlayStation Plus, and hey, Henley, how you doing? Welcome, welcome to the show. When you are comparing, or when all right, where I already got sidetracked just because I saw a check come in. Go figure. Sony's going to compete. So, oh yeah, when you compare Game Pass to PlayStation's version of it, Game Pass by far rules. You got day and date and all that type of stuff, which you don't have in the PlayStation. And you know, I think they're starting to put their games on PC, and I do, and those are going to be day and date. But the console needs it too, and I think they're gonna. This type of stuff of biting into that monopolistic company's size is going to force them to start doing better offerings for those on the PlayStation, which is great. I think I love Game Pass. I would love, and if Sony, and I've said this before, if Sony did, would be great. I think for all gamers, if Sony would just make their product, if they did it day and date like Microsoft does, and then they offered, hey, you can put the PlayStation Pass on the Xbox and Game Pass can be on PlayStation, then that would be great because you could buy one console and you could buy the console of your choice, but you could play games from both platforms. Everybody wins. You know, at the end of the day, it's like it's just a piece of hardware. We don't care about the piece of plastic. Some people do. They're defending their piece of plastic to the death, right? But it's all about the games. And there are Xbox gamers who would love to play PlayStation games. There's PlayStation gamers who would love to play Xbox games. And it's hard in this day to pay, you know, what, $1,200 now to buy both consoles, 11 to 1,200, if you buy in the with the Series X. You know, it's expensive. So that's why things like Game Pass are so great. Is a lot of value for our purchase. So hopefully Sony will see the writing on the wall and start to um, improve the PlayStation platform for the PlayStation game. Not the platform, but their Sony Plus or the Sony their like Game Pass competitor. Even after this ABK, Microsoft is still in third place. This isn't going to. It's not going to massively overnight make put them in first place. They are not a monopoly. You hear a lot of the ponies going, Microsoft's a monopoly. They're not. Xbox is in third place. They are far behind, and this one acquisition is not going to put them in first place. It's not even going to put them in second place. They're still going to be in third, and so there's not going to be any harm to anybody. And again, nobody's going to lose anything. Nobody here is losing anything. I know some of the ponies complain that Starfield, they took it away. Well, Starfield hasn't been launched on anything. It's not released. So you can't say they took something away from you when you never had it to begin with. So I think this is a great move for Microsoft to make Starfield exclusive. I do think they need to make things like Elder Scrolls 6, I think, should stay multi-platform, like they did with Minecraft Dungeons. Any franchise that was already on another platform, leave it there. Develop for both. That's what I think, and I think that's what they're going to do. Um, but we'll see. We have no idea. But we know Call of Duty. We know Minecraft has stayed multi-plat. They've also released Minecraft. What was the last one? Legends or Dungeons also released multi-plat, which they didn't need to do. They could have made that a exclusive, but they're keeping the Minecraft everywhere. It's benefit at the end of the day. Xbox, just like PlayStation, it's about money for them. It's about making money, getting customers. So the more customers you have, the more money you make. That's the simple fact of it. But you do have to have exclusives to get people to your platform, right? So that's what Sony's been doing all along. Microsoft is tried to get away from that, and I think they have seen how badly that has failed. All right, so the other thing about ABK is that this really isn't about Call of Duty. That's all we've heard about, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. But this is really about King and Blizzard. It's about the PC market. But it's mainly about the mobile market. So Google and Apple have a duopoly. So you want to talk about control? You know, we all have these phones in our hands, and they come from one of two providers, or your operating system is one of two providers. It's either Google or it's Apple, and they control what goes in their stores. And one of the things that the FTC and other regulators have been wanting to do is somehow break up that. So one of the things we saw was like Epic fought with Apple over this. Apple controls Apple. Why should Apple get uh, what 70% or 30% of you buying um, Fortnite coins in the game? Like, there's no. It's just taking money away from Epic. They're the ones that are doing it. It's like, I get if it's a game sale, but when it just seems they're Apple and Google are just making money. Just they're just taking it because they can. Again, a monopoly, right? Or in this case, a duopoly. They're both doing the exact same thing, and there's no one else that can get in the market. This purchase of King, one of the things that I know Microsoft is working on is they want to make an actual another possible mobile store that can be available everywhere. And this again can help consumers and again drive competition and give us a third option for a mobile platform store to make purchases that might be cheaper on the Microsoft platform, and you're still buying your apps. They're still going to work. So we're trying to break that duopoly up. Again, all to the benefit of the consumer. So again, this was not about COD. COD's not going anywhere. I have a lot of thoughts about what Sony's done. Jim Ryan. I do predict Jim Ryan will be fired within the next 12 months. And yeah, he did what he was supposed to do to fight and try to stop it to protect Sony. However, I think he went a little too far. I think he was dirty. I think he's a dirtbag myself, but um, he did his job. But I also think they went too far, and he basically aired their own dirty laundry. And now Sony's being investigated by regulators for all the anti-competitive practices that they have done throughout all the years. How many consoles have they run out of business? So I think that what is it? The chickens are going to come home to roost, right? All right. So we'll see. It's just my little prediction. We'll see if Jim Ryan's going to stick around very long. Maybe he will, but I do predict within a year that he's going to leave either on his own accord or to spend more time with family or whatever. I don't think it'll be come out as he's fired, but I think that Sony's going to be like, "You're out of here, dude. How do you want to go out? We'll make it nice for you, but you're gone." So we'll see. All right. So I think that's a bit it for my thoughts on ABK. At this point, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. All right. So Game Pass Core. Now, this is something new. So Microsoft is finally getting rid of Xbox Live Gold. Sort of. They're kind of getting rid of it, but in a in a kind of sneaky way, it's still there. But so we have Game Pass for PC, which I think is I know the price has changed and I don't have it up on my screen, so I'm not going to even attempt to name the prices but And you got Game Pass for PC, which gives you all the games on the PC. And then you've got the Game Pass for Xbox, which gives you all the games on the console. And then they got Game Pass Ultimate, which is what I have. Um, Now, the Game Pass for PC does allow you to play online. Game Pass for Game Pass for Xbox does not. It doesn't give you multiplayer. It's um, you do have to have the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate if you're on a console and you want the gold, right? The online playing capability. So they said they're getting rid of the Xbox Live for a gold. Um, and what they're now gonna and they're basically doing what Sony did. So if you remember when Sony's online service or whatever their PlayStation Plus Extreme Essentials, whatever all that was, when they did that, they basically got rid of what everyone was on PlayStation Plus, I think at the time. I think that's what it was called, which was like Xbox Live Gold. I think it was PlayStation Plus. They took all those people and basically pushed them into this subscription service, or they think of it as they moved them into Game Pass. And then all of a sudden they had more numbers than Game Pass did on a brand new. Well, it's because they just moved everyone to that. Xbox did not. Xbox said, "Hey, here's a subscription service if you want to join." What Microsoft is now doing is we're going to quote get rid of Gold. We're going to move everybody into Game Pass, and we're going to do this new model of Game Pass Core. So Core basically and they're getting rid of games with Gold, which is fine. Those games have been garbage for so long. But you now will get people in Game Pass Core. You will not have access to multiplayer gaming, but instead of 2 free games a month, you're gonna now get I think they said 25 games from the Game Pass library, and those will rotate, probably not as much as they're probably going to stay in there for a good length of time. We don't know how often something might come and go, but I would imagine the core is pretty much going to probably stay around 25 core games. And then, but that gives you, I think that's a great deal for someone that doesn't play online. And I know a lot of people are complaining about, well, they should, you shouldn't have to pay for online, and I agree with that. In today's day and age, on the PC, you don't have to pay for online, but they do charge you on the console. I do wish Microsoft would get rid of that, but again, they've got millions of people paying every month to pay that, and it's no company just wants to say, okay, we're just going to give up all this money every month, millions and potentially billions of dollars a month, just to be a good guy, right? The companies are in they need to make money, and this is the more money they make that goes into the games, which we're seeing, bigger and better and badder games. So they need the money to develop those. But I do think that should go away. All right. So outside of that should go away. Microsoft has metrics. They know how many gamers don't use multiplayer. So what gets me is how many people are like, well, Microsoft's so stupid and they're doing that. Microsoft is a $1 trillion company, right? They know what they're doing. Xbox knows what they're doing. They have a plan, and it's really coming to fruition. We've really seen that with this last showcase we saw. You're seeing the amazing gameplay of Redfall here on my stream now. Microsoft knows what they're doing. They have the metrics. They know how many people. So there's obviously a market of people that don't play online. It's also so it's going to get people in to see what Game Pass is all about. So if you're just a gold subscriber, or you're not, because there's I don't think we call it silver anymore, but everyone at the base now is going to have Game Pass, period. If you're in the platform, you're going to get Xbox Game Pass Core, period. So as soon as you go by, think about it this way, as soon as you go by you get a new guy, someone new to the platform, which is awesome. They go buy a Series S, right? As soon as they launch it, they create their ID, they're in Game Pass. They don't even have to go buy any games. They got 25 games available to them right as soon as they buy that $300 box. How awesome is that? Where else do you see that? Okay. Then it gets you in the system. You're like, ooh, there was multiplayer games. Maybe I want to play these. I want to try this. Then for a few bucks more, you upgrade to the ultimate, or to, if you just want the game. But yeah, you got to go to ultimate. And it's only it's not really that big of a leap. And then you gain the entire library. You gain the online. Um, but again, it's about options. It's about choices. I think this is a great um, thing, and I think the whole, oh, you won't get the multiplayer for core. It's core. It's a basic. It's like your first level. It's a basic. You're not going to get everything. So I do agree that that should go away. The You should get online. Period in today's day and age, but that's not the way Sony does it. That's not the way Microsoft does it. Even Nintendo charges for online, right? With their, oh no, that's a different thing. I think you can still play online if you have their friend code. So maybe they're the only ones doing it. I don't know a whole lot about that. I'd have to follow up with. My kids play Nintendo, but I know I don't pay anything other than my youngest always wanting me to, handing me money to put more Fortnite bucks on his account. All right. So that's it. Game Pass Core. It's not the end of the world. I think it's a great thing. It's going to get more people into Game Pass. For new people, again, they're going to get a bot. You go buy a new Xbox. You've never been in the Xbox ecosystem. You immediately have access to a core group of games in Game Pass. Awesome. Win. All right. Two more things I'll cover. Again, these are going to be shorter shows. And just kind of things that I want to talk about to get some thoughts out. Redfall. I know the game came out a while ago and everyone hates it and it's just a big bust and it's terrible and it's the worst thing ever. Well, I don't agree with that. I have, and I've stated on our show many, many times before, I know Rob and Brun both love Arcane Studios. They've talked about Dishonored. They've talked about several different games that the studio makes. And I've tried Dishonored, didn't care for it. I've tried Deathloop. I did not like it. It looked okay. I just didn't like the game. I've tried Prey. Didn't like it. I honestly, with Redfall, I really figured I'm not going to like it. It's an Arcane Studios game. And for some reason, Arcane just does not click with me. I played Redfall. I completed the entire campaign. It's the first Arcane Studios game that I actually completed, and I liked it. Yes, I recognize that they sold this game, they kind of marketed it as 60 frame, 4K 60, blah, blah, blah. And that's not what we got. I agree that Microsoft deserves the smoke for their marketing, for the promises made. And I do think that Microsoft needed to get involved with that studio, much like they did with Starfield, that game. So they got involved with Bethesda. The whole pushing the game out another year. They've had their what is it, the Advanced Technology Group or something like that. They're Microsoft's little team that goes in and they work with the developers to just get the best possible looking and playing game and stuff like that. They should have obviously done that with Arcane as well. But it sounds like there was a lot of things internally at Arcane where they didn't want to do the game. It was forced upon them before the purchase because the parent company wanted them to have this type of game instead of what they're known for, the core single player type. They wanted this co-op open world type of thing. And all I can say about Redfall is don't buy into all the hype, or the hate, I should say, because there's no hype, there's hate. Don't buy into the hate. The game is actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed the co-op works really well. It is you can go anywhere. You can be in different places than other players, which it's untethered, which was different, and it was nice. You didn't have to worry about where someone else was, but it's a lot better if you're just sticking together and fighting all the vampires. I did enjoy the game. I didn't think that it was as bad as everyone claimed it to be. I mean, we've all played worse games. That's the thing. For as much hate as Redfall got, there are worse games out there that people just seem to play and don't seem to care about. But because this was the first Microsoft exclusive, it gets all the hate because it's, you know. And again, this was a game that ponies wanted and were complaining, we want Redfall, we should get it too. And then until it released, and then they turn around and go, ha ha, who would want that garbage? It's like, well, you guys wanted it. And the truth is, they're missing out on a great game. But you know, Sony has taken a lot of games off Xbox, and Xbox gamers don't get them unless they buy a PlayStation. So, you know, it's just the nature of the game. It's the way it is. If so, what I want to say about Redfall is, if you do have Game Pass, don't ignore the game. Give it a shot. Now, if you are a true massive Arcane Studios fan, maybe you probably won't like it because it is different. But if you're like me, who've not cared for Arcane games in the past, give it a shot. It doesn't hurt you. Try it out. See what you think. Go in with an open mind and just play and see what you think of it. And I'd love to hear back on your thoughts. See if you enjoyed it. Like I said, I played the whole campaign. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I would play DLC, but I don't expect that game to get any DLC. I think that's a one and done. But yeah, and if you are playing, hit me up, Wingman709. In case I did not say that earlier, you should all know me by now. On Xbox, and I will be happy to join and play some co-op with you in Redfall. All right, so that brings me to my last thing, El Diablo. Diablo 4. I was a huge Diablo 3 fan. Absolutely. That was my first Diablo because I never played 1 or 2 on the PC. Diablo 3 on the Xbox 360, yes, was my first introduction to Diablo. And I played Diablo 3. I think the Eternal Collection or whatever it was. I played every character all the way through level 70 and higher on that. I played that game so much. Then I bought it again on Xbox One and did the same thing. Every character to 70. Played it just ridiculous amount of times. I was loving. So I was really passionate about Diablo 4 and so excited. I did try Diablo 2 when it came out, and I was like, oh, I hated it. It was terrible. It was too old school. It was just it. I just didn't like it. Wasn't for me. I did not play much of it. I did not like it. Diablo 4 came out, and I have been playing it a lot. Not as many as a lot of people who've already got their characters past level 100, but man, I think I just hit level 70 the other day, and it's such a slow grind. This game is such a grind. Diablo 3, you could actually take a new character, and the reason I got them all to 70 there was because you could jump in with people from that were higher levels, and man, you'd level up real quick. Well, they took that out. That doesn't exist in this game anymore, and it is you level up pretty quickly to, I think, around 50. You can get to 50, not bad, still a lot of hours, but once you get there, it really slows down. And I believe the developers have said that once you get to around the 80, between 70 and 80, I think, was about the halfway point to 100. That's how slow the XP generation changes. So it is definitely a grind. I will not be playing. I didn't plan on playing multiple characters. I'm playing as a sorceress. I do want to try the rogue because I do want to try that out. But with the grind and how they changed it, so you can't just jump in and level up another character and then have access to all the powers and be super powerful pretty fairly, within a few hours. And instead of it taking months to do, I probably won't do that. But now, the caveat to that is they released the season 1 came out the other day, and I was looking forward to new story, new content, and I launched the game, and it said, and I even prepped. I got all my dungeons done. I got all my aspects done. I had all the map opened up. I had all the Lilith statues collected. Everything they said, to do before the season. Do all this before the seasonal content. So I did all that. Guess what happened? You launch the game and it says, you go to play and it's like, oh, if you want to play the seasonal content, you must create a new character. I'm like, what? Then what was the point of doing all that other stuff? Now, you can skip the campaign, But to go into the season, I haven't. Right now, I just went back as my regular character, and I haven't even launched into the seasonal stuff because I'm really frustrated over this. Why lock it and all the new content and the new um, uh, not the collectibles, but the gear. Think the gear. Why is the gear locked? So all these people that have been playing for the past month or so, just hundreds of hours. Now that it's like, okay, we got new content, but you have to start over. I why? What's the point of that? Someone explain that to me. I don't get it. That's really ridiculous. And it's almost at this level. Today on this Xbox Live. All right, but I won't play the whole rant. I'm not going to completely rant about it, but it seems ridiculous to me for a game like this that people are going to put hundreds of thousands of hours into characters. And I mean, there is so much planning and micromanaging of your character and what powers and skills and aspects and all these different things that are go on to that, and you try to get it just to be the best character, and then they're like, oh, you want new content, start someone new, start over. I just don't understand that. And it's frustrating. And I know myself and Comrade, who we've been playing a lot of Diablo 4 together, are both like, we're pretty much done with this game. She's gonna try to do her hardcore run and get all her achievements, but she doesn't even plan to do the seasonal. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do the seasonal. I don't. I might try it because you can skip the campaign, and I do want to try a rogue. So I was like, well, I could do a seasonal character as the rogue, but now I got to go into new content, and I'm like brand new. I just don't know. I'm it ah frustrating. I don't like it. Okay, that's really it. Otherwise, the game is gorgeous, and there's a lot to do. There is so much to do in Diablo 4. I will say that there is no end of things. But a couple of gripes. Why is it every time I go into a dungeon, there's a group of people that, oh, help us, my friends have been injured, we need your help to get out. I'm to the point I just ignore them. Like, no, you're on your own. I'm not here just to help you. So I'm here to accomplish things. I'm not, every dungeon you go into, it's the same little, you always run into them. Like, okay, come on, you guys, that shouldn't be there. That's just repetitive garbage. But I guess maybe it's a way to get more experience points. I don't know. It just seems ridiculous that every dungeon you run into a group that, we need your help. All right. Anyways, I'm going to say it again. Please like and subscribe. I want to get the subscribers up. I'm going for. I want to get to 1,000 because then I can try to get on the program to get super chats and things like that, and then people can actually. I don't know what it's called. It's not subscribe because subscribe everywhere else costs money. Here it's free. So liking and subscribing will help TXL move up, and then we can get into some more cool features on the YouTube side. So please do that. Please share the video out. Please share the link out on your feeds, social media feeds, and stuff like that. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do a schedule. I don't think I will because I want to just do when something in the news I feel is worth talking about. So again, this is going to be very different than the TXL you had before. If you guys have any ideas, comment on this episode on the YouTube, and I'll keep my eye on it. I did get a question. I think it was Cat Flap 1970 on our Facebook group. I was asking about voicemails. Their voicemail should still work. Just going to this xboxlife.com, hitting the voicemail button there. So I will verify that. I'll make sure I've still got access to that email system. I should. So taking it all over for now. But again, Robin Brunn, you're welcome on anytime. But again, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys showing up and listening to me ramble for a few minutes. And I will be back on another day with some more thoughts. Now, let me figure out how to do this. All right, let's see if this works. Bye, everybody.